Hi guys! I sat down to do this page in my pocket page notebook. I've got these really cute photos of me and Shane and Lily eating ice cream. And I've also got this FOODIE stamp set from Kellie Stamps, which is releasing today. As you can see, it's well used. I've used it a lot. You'll see it coming up in a lot of videos because I really love this stamp set. It's awesome. Now, I had this cool idea and I just wasn't sure whether I could translate it onto paper or not, but I've managed. So now I have to work out how to explain that to you guys. Now, we've seen me do repeat stamping a lot, and you've seen me do this sort of multiple stamp repeating a lot. What I wanted to see if I could work out how to do is how to repeat stamp multiple stamps like this, but in multiple colors, not just one. And I don't mean one block of stamps repeated in different colors as well, because you've seen me do that plenty of times too. So this is a new one for me, and I did manage to get it to work. So now I'm going to show you how I did it. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of this notebook. It did take me several goes at this to get it right, so I suggest using some scrap paper first before just diving into your notebook. I'm not going to guarantee that this will work the first time. It certainly didn't for me. So the first thing you want to do, like normal, is grab your block, and I'm just going to do a rough little outline here on my paper so I can see how big it is. But you are going to need more than one block for this technique. Then I'm just going to pick the stamps that I want to use this pattern, and I'm just going to place them onto my little drawn out shape to make sure that they all fit. Now obviously I'm cheating because I've already done this, so I know which stamps I'm using and which ones work. This step can take a little while, but the trick of it is that you want to make sure that you're filling the edges of your block. And I will link a video up below that shows this in a bit more detail. But once I've got my little stamps how I want them, if you're just going to do a single color, you can just stick your block down on here and go away and start stamping. But what I want to be able to do is to split this grouping of stamps into three. I want to use 3 colors today, so I'm going to technically need 3 blocks, but I'm cheating and only using 2 because I don't have 3 that are the right size. So I'm just going to split them into 3 blocks, but you do want to roughly keep them in the right order. So I'm just going to stick 2 of them on one side and 1 of them on the other. Oh, I've done that totally wrong. That's right. I'll peel this off like so, and then my 3rd stamp is going to go on another block over here. Now it's helpful if before you split them onto different blocks like this, if you do at least one stamp so you can see the actual pattern that you're going to create, because it can get a little bit tricky later on. And then go ahead and grab a piece of scrap paper. Now I've just picked out 3 colors of ink that match my photos. You can pick whatever colors you want. These are the 3 that I'm working with, pink, yellow and blue. And I'm just going to start with 1 with each color. So I'm going to start with my first color, and I'm going to use my first stamp, and you can just stamp that wherever you want. And then I'm going to do my second stamp with my second color. And then my 3rd block of stamps with my 3rd color. So you can see I'm getting the same shapes as the black and white one, but in full color. And then just go ahead and repeat that pattern as many times as you like. Now obviously I'm being much less careful with this than I would if I was doing a finished one. I just want to quickly show you how this goes together. And so this is my multiple stamp, multiple color repeat pattern. Now, like I said, I played around with this for a long time, so don't expect to get this first pop. In fact, I'll show you all the ones I did. So this was the first attempt that I had, which is a replica of this one here. I was just doing the same colors in the same order, straight underneath each other, which is cool, except I end up with these kind of stripes of color, which I wasn't super fond of. So my second attempt, I offset the colors so that eat and sleep, you can see, is on the right hand side, and then the left, and then the right. So it does break up those bands of colors, but I wasn't loving how close the pink was together and how much the yellow, and that's all to do with each column of stamping where you start and finish that. So then I had a third go and I finally got something that I was happy with. So this is the pattern I'm going to use today. I know this is all super complicated, but hopefully I've explained it clearly enough that you can get what I'm talking about. If you've got any questions, just leave me a comment down below and I will try really hard to answer them. But in the meantime, I am going to get on with my page. So I've got my stamped pattern for the left hand side, but I did want a pattern on the right hand side as well, something a little bit simpler. So I just went through my stash and picked out a few grid patterns that I had. None of these really worked. This pink one's okay. I think that's a really old Studio Calico paper. The rest of them were a little bit creamy coloured. The paper was creamy coloured rather than white. Now, there's a story to this paper trimmer. This is my new paper trimmer, and it may or may not be in my February favourites. There's a longer story to it. I'll get into that in that video. You can see here, this is the best paper trimmer I've ever used. It trims so nicely. But look at this thing. It's massive. It's friggin' huge. I did not realize how huge it was when I bought it. When it arrived in the hugest box. And I thought that was a mistake, but no, it's massive. But I do love it. So stay tuned. I need to use it a bit more. So the rest of the page is going to come together really easily from here. I'm not going to add a whole lot more to it. To start off with, I do need to just trim down the page that's going to go in my pocket. It was a little bit too wide, and you can see there I just pull out my other trimmer because it's so much easier than that behemoth one. And then just stick down my stamped piece onto the paper page and just trim that down a little bit here. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of another page that I did with the Kellie Stamps release. This was with my silhouettes and gold foil and the digital stamps, so do make sure that you head over to the shop. I will leave the link down below in the description box. There are some really great releases this month. I was just going to stick my photos down as they were, but I happened to see the back of this grid paper and it's this beautiful pink colour, which I think works really nicely with my photos and both the stamping and the grid paper. So I decided just to matte my photos just a tiny little bit with this bright pink. It gives the page a little bit more fun, I guess, which was my whole point with this page. It's a little bit bright and cherry, which is just delicious at the moment. So you can see just a tiny, tiny little pop of pink. It's hardly a matte at all. I don't want to add too much because I'm not adding super heap of bulk to this page. And I couldn't work out which alpha to use here. I went and grabbed a bunch of, they're just cardboard alphas, they're not thickers or anything, so again keeping the bulk down. But the pink wasn't really the right pink. You can see it's kind of a blue base, sort of purpley pink, and the teal was a little bit green, and so I end up using these alphas, which I don't love as much as the other three are all that same style, same font, which I liked so much more than these ones, but I end up having to use these ones because the color matches my stamping much better, and it is what it is. So I'm just going to spell out my title here. Yes, please. I didn't go too creative with the title. I'm just using the same sentiment that is in one of the stamps. And now I've got my title placed, I can go ahead and stick down my photos. I didn't want to have them on one line because it is sort of an odd spacing. So I put the left hand photo a little bit higher than the right hand one. And I'm going to use a few little embellishments, not too many. I had these old chipboard stickers that had some of the relevant colors, I guess. They weren't perfect, and that's why I sort of struggled to decide which ones to use, but in the end I think it's better that they're not the exact same colors. I'm going to add in these sequins and enamel dots too, and none of them are exactly the right colors too, so I guess the more that you add similar but not the same colors, the more cohesive the whole layout looks. So if I had found chipboard stickers that were exactly the same color as my stamping and the alphas were exactly the same, and then I put the slightly different sequins on, they would stand out. So I'm gonna go kind of heavy with the sequins. I mean, is it really a layout of mine if it doesn't have sequins on it? But what I want to do is just add a whole bunch of these different colors to tie the whole page together. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense in my brain, but my brain needs a bit more coffee this morning. So yeah, I guess the point is I just want to go over the top with the sequins, but not, you know, over the top for me, I guess. I'm not filling the entire page, but I am creating 3 little clusters. So one above the title and one on the top left where I added the other chipboard phrase there, and then one just in the middle. So there is this diagonal line from the top left to my title, drawing your eye down the page. So you can see I'm trying to make the one above my title just a little bit bigger, and then that page is all done. I love how this turned out. I love the stamping pattern. It's definitely going to be something I will try again. I think the more you try that, the easier it will get. But like I said, if you've got any questions, leave them down below and I will try my best to explain in words what I could barely explain on camera. Don't forget to check out the Kellie Stamps release today. I will leave the link down below in the description box. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there's a couple more videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye guys.